feelings when Mr. Craig said, oh, Mrs. Young's coming, and you guys are like, oh, no, not again. So, my job here is I'm the information expert. I'm the one who's supposed to help you find what you need. If you already know about it and it's not what you need, then I don't want to talk about it. So we're going to kind of turn things around a little bit on you, and we're going to talk about what you might need for this project. So first of all, give me some suggestions, thoughts. What are you going to be doing? What's your project on?
Nuclear chemistry.
Nuclear chemistry. What else?
Mentos and Diet Coke.
Mentos and Diet Coke, which is a lot of fun. Yes, what else? I know that one because I've done that one before. What else?
Law of conservation of mass.
Law of conservation of mass. Okay, good. What else? Raise your hand if you're undecided still. Everyone's decided? Okay, a couple. Just nobody wants to talk to me. You have to be interactive with me today because it's going to be really boring if you're not. Okay, so you got to talk to me. I got to give you what you need, not what I need to say. Anybody else want to add anything? What's your project? What do you do?
Acids and bases.
What is it?
Acids and bases.
Acids and bases. Okay, great. So let's talk about where we're going to get that information. When I come into your classes usually, where do I tell you to go? Media Center website, they know that. That's awesome. Yay. Okay, so I need someone. Who do I need? Okay, come on up. What's your name? Olivia. Olivia, okay.
You look nice today, Olivia.
You do look very nice. Tell everyone what you're doing, how you're getting to where you need to go.
Go to school.
Say it loudly so they can hear.
Go to the high school website.
I know the mouse on that is a little crazy. Okay, so we go to the high school page. Media Center. Research databases, excellent. I guess they have heard me talk before. Okay, so we've got this huge list of databases. A reminder that databases are things that you cannot get through Google or a standard search engine. You have to go here and you have to have a username and password. You're good. I'm going to keep you having you work, okay? So, if we're doing research for chemistry, how do I know where to go?
Doesn't it tell you a little bit about each one? Like what they're used for?
It does tell you a little bit about each one, but, some, no, not really. I used to have it up there like that, and then I kind of took it off because nobody used it. Like, would I go to American History Online? No, that's not going to make any sense. What's a good general overall one that I might have listed at the very top because I think it's probably the most useful? Okay, go ahead and click on Gale. Remember that there's a username and password there if you're at home and accessing that information. Okay, so once I'm in Gale, where do I go? The science one, very good. There's one that says science in context. And you're good. Thank you. I appreciate your help. For this assignment, your science in context is really going to be the only database that you're going to be using here. Okay, that's going to be your best source. That's going to be where you're going to look for information. What do we type in here? Let's do, I heard acids and bases. And there's a whole section there on acids and bases. Raise your hand if you've used Gale before, so I know that you're all familiar with it. Okay, that's everyone, so good. So you know what that looks like. One thing I do want to point out to you is that there are videos and images that you can get to on the right-hand side. Very useful for your project, for your presentation that you're going to be doing. You can use images from there, okay? So that is Gale. Very good. Okay, so what else do we need to know for this project? What other information do you need to have from me? Well, why am I here? I showed you that resource, but what else might you need for your project? Okay, presentation stuff. That might be another thing that you need to know. Great. I'm going to go back to that Media Center page. I'm going to go back one more to the home page. And on that section, there's a thing that says web apps. And under web apps, there's a ton of different presentation tools. And things that you might think about that would be a little more creative. You might make a video, which you guys have done before, but there are some cool things like there's a comic creator. What if you did your whole presentation like using comics? That would be kind of interesting. I think that would be really cool. There are, Story Jumper is kind of making a children's book online. That might be an interesting thing to do. So there's a whole bunch of different presentation options there. Look at the web apps page and that's going to be helpful to you. Citing the sources. Excellent. A quick reminder, if you're in Gale or any of the other databases, but if you're in Gale, the source is at the bottom. Just copy and paste that. Okay? That's going to be good for you. But if you're using general websites, which you will be doing a lot here, where have I said to go in the past? BibMe. There you go. I can type it here. BibMe.org. Raise your hand if you've used BibMe before. Excellent. You guys know how to use it? There's a reminder for you, okay? One quick note. Go here to the website page. If you're having trouble and it says it can't, if you put in like a long URL and it can't find it, just shorten the URL until like the .edu part. After the .edu, cut it off and it'll cite that for you, okay? But yeah, BibMe, very good. Why else am I here?
You talked about, well, we said presentation techniques, but how do we know like the right questions to ask to get people thinking after our PowerPoint or after our video? So what questions should we ask people to?
That is a very good question, isn't it, Mr. Craig? You can talk too, you know.
Yes.
Yes, okay. On that part of it, here I'm going to say, first of all, I am not a chemistry expert. It has been a very long time since I took chemistry. So in order to help you with those questions, I could not help you with the chemistry part of it. But let me show you one other tool that might help you think in a different way, okay? I know you use Google. See, we've got a chance here to use Google. Actually, I'm going to show you two things that might get you thinking. Well, one thing I'm going to put in here is I'm going to go to Google Scholar. Have you used Google Scholar before? No one's used Google Scholar. Okay. What Google has done is Google has taken college dissertations, research papers from professors, sometimes books from universities, and they've specifically worked with the University of Michigan, and they've digitized all that content and made it available on Google Scholar. You don't get there through regular Google. You have to go to Google Scholar to get there. There's a lot of information online. And so if we search for acids and bases, there will be very collegiate level papers for you to look at and see if you can get information from. You can look at that different research. So there I've got Google Scholar up. You can see I've got, this is from the Journal of the American Chemical Society. Some of these are quite old. I do want to say, if you can see the dates here, 1963, 1962, 1970, 1981. You can change your search so that you go, okay, I want everything since 2009. And they'll switch it so it's a little more current. But
one thing about chemistry, the data's not old. Okay, so that's the nice thing. If it's an old research paper, it's still good today.
Okay, so then that's something that's useful for you as well. Okay, because it's the chemistry of it's not going to change.
Only the technology's changed.
Right. Okay. So Google Scholar, by looking at that, you might find some additional questions that they've posed in terms of their research questions that they're trying to find the answers to. And that would be a great place to look for that. Okay? So Google Scholar. I really like Google Scholar. Where else do you guys go for information? Be honest.
Wikipedia.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, come on.
Boy, Will.
Talk to me about Wikipedia. How do you use it?
Type in what I want to know.
Type in acids and bases for me.
Or do your topic fireworks.
Oh yeah, you can do your fireworks. Or your fireworks. You can do your topic. Fireworks. There we go. Okay. So tell me how you would use it. I mean, you know, how would you use the information that's there?
Well, I usually like scroll down and have like a summary of everything.
Okay.
And I kind of look for what I would need in there.
Okay.
Click on it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Go with history.
Okay. So, you might look at the history that's there. How do you know if it's right or wrong?
I don't know.
Okay.
Wikipedia has people that go in and they check the
Yeah.
They do have people that go in and check it. I'm going to tell you something that just came out in the news. It was about 3 weeks ago, where a company did a study and found that 60% of Wikipedia articles contain incorrect information.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot of incorrect information.
I also heard of some studies that said that that there were as many errors in World Book as there were in Wikipedia. Has that been discredited, or?
The errors in World Book are more typographical type of errors, you know, like they've typed the words in wrong or things like that. And that was about 10 years ago. Now, Wikipedia has changed so much and so many people are adding to it that the error rate is much higher. And it depends upon your subject too. So, for example, a lot of the technological type things, like if I'm looking for something on computers, I found Wikipedia to be right on. If I'm looking up, like if I needed to know a certain file type or things like that, Wikipedia is a great place to look for that information. If you're looking at information on famous people, it's almost always wrong. So it really depends upon the type of subject as well. I'm going to help you out a little bit here, okay?
All right.
It is okay to use Wikipedia if you use it in the right way. You're going to get ideas from it. It's going to take you to other places, sources of information. That's a great way to use it. As a citable source, I got all my information from Wikipedia, so it must be right. That's not the way you're going to use Wikipedia. But for ideas and for path to take you someplace else, that's what you're going to use Wikipedia for. So you may look in here. Let's see what else is in here. And here's what I like to look at. Like here, did that help you? This chart? I don't know.
Yes.
What chemicals you would
Definitely.
use to make. So that might help you, okay? And that might be a good thing. Could you use the pictures from it?
Probably.
Could you use the pictures from it? That would be a great way to do it. I'm still going all the way down here. Oh, let me talk to you about that section. If you see that orange box on Wikipedia, that orange box means that something's not right there. The people who do, like Olivia said earlier, the people who do look at it have found information to be lacking there or incorrect or not cited properly or something, and they put that orange box there. When you see the orange box, be cautious, because that means something's wrong, but they're not going to tell you what's wrong. They just know that it's not correct. Okay? So it says this, and why don't they just say, this is wrong, or get rid of it? I don't know. But it says this section needs additional citations for verification. So something's not right there. Okay. I'm going to keep scrolling down. I want to get to this part. The references section is where you can look for additional websites, additional sources to get maybe more information about what your topic is. So again, it's okay to use it as long as it's not your primary source where you're getting all your information, but that you're using it to get other places. Okay? See, look, Mrs. Young said you could use Wikipedia, but just use it in the right way, okay? Thank you. You're
Thank
good.
you.
Okay, where else do you get your information from? I heard somebody say Facebook earlier. How would you use Facebook for information? how, I didn't hear what you
I
said.
said rumor has it.
Oh. No, I mean, you can legitimately use Facebook to get some research done, but how would you use it?
You're looking at a specific product, you can go on the product page.
Go on their product page. Yep, very good. What else? Ask people. Absolutely. Absolutely. You could ask people for information. You could look at a university science department's webpage and find people on there that you could talk to and ask questions of. You could absolutely do that. You can look at it as a tool to get to the people that you need to get to. How about Twitter? Anybody tweet? Does Mr. Craig tweet?
Yeah.
Okay. Evidently all the time?
Not in the last couple days.
Okay. So could you do the same thing? Could you get information from people through Twitter?
Yeah.
Sure you could. I do a lot of my my own personal learning for my job. I get from different people's Twitter feeds and find out what they're saying about topics. And so it's a great another great place. It's just a connection with the person. Instead of emailing them or calling them on the phone, you're just going to talk to them in a different way. Okay, so those are good sources. Where else? Think video.
YouTube.
Okay, YouTube. What did you say?
I said Skype.
You could Skype people. Yeah, absolutely. That's great too. You raise your hand if you know how to use YouTube. I should see everybody's hand up, right? Do I need to go over how to use YouTube? Are you guys good with that? Okay, so I'm going to show you one other video source. Anybody use the videos off of the library page?
The what?
The what? There are videos? You might learn something new today. Yay! Okay. I'm going to go back. Pay attention, because if you don't know about this, it's really good. I'm going to go back to the research databases page. And I'm going to look where it says Discovery Streaming, and it has educational videos. Please note, there is a username and password underneath. The username is Avon12, the password is Nova. It's right on the page, so you don't need to write it down. It's right there. But you will need it to log in. I'm already logged in. Here, I'll log out so it shows you. Okay, so right here, Avon12, Nova. You will need to click on login because when you press enter, it doesn't like it. So you click on login, and there are lots of videos here. This is from, Discovery Channel. That's where this comes from. So there's a lot of videos on here that are really good. I'm not sure what we'll get on fireworks, but let's see. There are video segments on fireworks. It's the history of, the chemistry of fireworks. Wouldn't that be what you need?
Yeah.
Nice little video?
No.
Maybe not? I don't know.
Craig was shaking his head no.
Yeah, that's too obvious.
Too obvious. Well, it might contain information. You might want to take a look at it. But there are a lot of videos on there. By the way, all the videos are broken down into segments. So you won't need any more to watch a couple minutes at a time. Makes it nice and easy. You could also put a link to one of these videos in your presentation if it's really helpful for you. Okay. What else do you need me here for? We've talked videos. We've talked Googling. We've talked Google Scholar. We've talked Wikipedia. We've talked web apps where you can get your presentation ideas. Can I mention one more thing? I just have one more thing. Me personally. But then I can help with anything you might need. Well, actually, I might have two more things. Let's go to Google again. And we're going to type in fireworks. And if I'm Googling something, how do I know that it's what I should use for research purposes? Okay, .edu, .gov, .org. .net and .com, they usually are there to make money off of you. So if that happens, you need to look at the author. And I'm going to give you an example. I had, it's not a chemistry example, it's a history example, but this happened yesterday. I had a student looking for information on the assassination of Robert Kennedy, had what looked to be a really good website, and I said, well, have you checked the author? The student got a little upset with me. Oh, this is a good website. I know it's a good website. Leave me alone. I know it's good.
That was Austin. I was there.
You were there.
It was bad. He was all like.
And what was the author?
I don't remember.
Did you hear?
the rest of it.
She was interested in
Oh, yeah.
paranormal activity. That's not legit. So it doesn't matter what her specifications or whatever. If you're looking at a historical research on Robert Kennedy's assassination, someone whose bio is that they are a specialist in paranormal activity, that's not okay. Ever. It doesn't matter how many degrees she has or anything, it's not going to work. So, but here's the good part. You said he went back and Googled the author to find more information. That's absolutely what you need to do. So he did the absolute right steps with that. And remember that my job is only to help you get to the good information and where you need to go. Okay? So as long as he's taking those steps and looking at that, then that's okay. And he had a take on it that might have been a little different than anybody else was going to do with it. And so he might have found that he wanted to provide that perspective that there are people out here who think this. It's always good to look at the other side of it, but you want to know where your information is coming from. So we always want to check and see who the author is. I have one more thing to say about .edus. Let me see if I can find it here. I might have to go look at acids and bases here instead. Bear with me just a second. I'm looking for one. Okay, there's one. Okay, look up here for just a second, because I'm going to read something off to you too. Up at the top. It says www.elmhurst.edu/CHM-VChemBook 180 acids and bases. Is that site okay to use? Raise your hand if you think yes, it's okay to use. Raise your hand if it's yes. Be brave. I heard you all say yes, and now you won't raise your hands?
I saw the page.
Oh, then you saw the page. What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's what?
It doesn't look professional. I wasn't sure whether it was a student or a professor at Elmhurst.
Okay, so let me tell you how you know that. It said elmhurst.edu, and then there's a tilde. What's the tilde? The squiggly line?
The name.
No. That's it. No, the tilde is the little squiggly line on the keyboard. If you see a .edu with a tilde in it, it's not okay to use for research. The tilde means that, I'm going to back up. When you go to college, every person is given space on the university server to use as you want to. A lot of people will put their class projects on there, or they'll collaborate with people on something. In some way you'll have that. You can put anything you want to on the server. It does not matter what it says, but that tilde means that it's not sponsored by the university. It's not okay. Okay, it's not okay to use for research. So in this case, that was good. You said, oh, I looked at it. This is obviously somebody's, I don't even, color without crayons. I don't even know what this is exactly. But it's obviously somebody who's created a student probably who's created a web page in some way. They don't have the author on here. They don't have what they did this for. They don't have an explanation, so this one's not going to be okay to use. If you've got the tilde, don't use it. If it says .edu and there's no tilde, use it, because that's good. Okay. When you do your presentation, are you going to have pictures in it?
Yeah.
You think you will? I mean, that's a question. I don't know if you will or not. For pictures, when you copy and paste a picture, It's just like copying and pasting a paragraph from a website. And what's that called if you copy and paste a paragraph and say it's your own?
Plagiarism.
Plagiarism. You don't want to plagiarize. Pictures are the same way. This is especially important if you're doing some sort of an online presentation, if you're doing an Animoto video or anything like that that other people can see. If you're not citing your sources or using copyright-free images, you may have problems with that. They have gone and fined people for doing this. So it's not just like you'll get in trouble with Mr. Craig, because Mr. Craig probably isn't going to care as much. But think outside, think bigger. You know, when you get to college, professors are going to have a problem with that. So you've got to be careful with that. If we go back to the Media Center page, and I'm going to click on where it says pictures. And it's going to come up eventually. And here I have quite a few sites listed that are what are called copyright-free images. So the people who put them up there said you can use them however you want to. And a lot of them are really, really great sites. Wikimedia Commons is copyright-free. It's not like Wikipedia in that it has information, but it's made by the people from the internet, so anybody can post whatever pictures they want to in there, so you'll find all sorts of stuff. Getty Images, the second one on there. I love Getty Images. It is blocked here at school. Definitely take a look at it at home. It's got a lot of great content in it. NBC News uses it for their stock photos, so it's a good source for pictures. It's a really good one. Definitely take a look at that for your presentation. Yeah?
If you use something like that and put it in your presentation at home, will it be blocked at school?
It will not be blocked at school as long as you've saved and uploaded the file. So like if you're doing a PowerPoint, you know, you've saved it, you've inserted it, it's okay. It'll still come through because you've saved it. It's just that you can't access the internet version of it here. Good question. Even if you upload it to Animoto or anything, it'll still work. Okay, other questions for me? We've talked about a lot of stuff today. Raise your hand if you've learned at least one new thing today. Yeah? Okay, that's good. Yay, that's my goal. Okay, so what I have for you is a brief handout here that is a reminder of everything that we've discussed. If you have a question about whether a source is a valid source, or, hey, I'm having trouble finding the information that I need, I have my email account at the bottom, and I also have my Twitter name at the bottom. If it's after school hours, sometimes Twitter's faster because I've got that on my phone. I don't have my school email on my phone because I just get too much email. So, but you can definitely contact me. I will find your answer and get back with you on it. Any questions? All right, I thank you for your time.
Thank you.